Five Nights at Freddy's is one of the most influential sagas, not only in horror, but gaming history. But in this video, I want to talk about one of my favorite characters, which is the Purple Guy, and why I believe he is the main reason of FNAF's downfall. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video by me, Astray, and today we're gonna be talking about the Purple Guy. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's saga, which is actually one of my favorites. Since the first game release, I've been hooked, and I've seen it change and grow. And sadly, I've also seen its downfall. Remember that this video is entirely my opinion, so don't take any of my statements personally. I just want to express a couple of issues that I have with the whole storyline. But before we begin, I want to thank you guys because we just reached 200 subscribers. This genuinely means a lot to me. I've been getting some comments that are extremely sweet, and I thank you all so much for the support. It actually makes me feel very happy with the sort of content I'm making, knowing that you guys like it. And yeah, as I've said, I don't want to be annoying, but only 4% of the people who's watching is subscribed. So if you like this video, please consider clicking that delicious and sexy red button. But anyways, with that out of the way, we're gonna be talking about the Purple Guy. In this story, we'll follow the mystery of the Purple Guy, a man who seemingly used to work at the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria location, who took the life of 6 innocent children. The corpses of the children were hidden inside of the animatronics used in said establishment: Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, Freddy, Golden Freddy, and the puppet. This story takes place in the 80s, and it was told in a very cryptic manner. It was explained via these things called the death minigames, which were short experiences in the style of an arcade game that somewhat explained the lore. At first, we had no idea who he was or what his intentions were, but I think that's actually one of the best things that the FNAF saga has given to us. One of the coolest things about horror stories involving crime is the mystery of the person behind it, and the beauty of it is the anonymity. When a murder takes place, it's very scary to think about that we don't know the circumstances or the reasons that led to it, because it makes you think that you might be next. We don't know why the Purple Guy decided to do this. We just know that he took advantage of his position in power to get away with a crime. Some people even theorize that the Purple Guy was actually the phone guy, who was apparently setting us up to be the next victim in the establishment. That's why each night he stays with us to explain the mechanics of what's about to come. There was actually a very popular design for the Purple Guy, which some people call Vincent, which is this one. If I'm not mistaken, the main artist behind this design actually decided to take some distance from it, as they don't feel connected to it anymore, and it also got tainted by the seemingly growing toxic FNAF fanbase. But I think the Vincent Purple Guy was actually the best Purple Guy. Some of the people watching this video probably like true horror, and I would recommend Wendigoon's True Crime Iceberg, because it's very interesting knowing that most serial murderers don't really have a motive for them. Many of them seemingly just had nihilistic intent. It's crazy to think about that someone with a disturbed mind would kill someone just because they had the opportunity to do so. Imagine being a father in the 80s and taking your kid to celebrate their birthday just for them to die in the very same establishment that was supposed to give them joy. And who was the person behind the murder? Someone who did it for the hell of it. In the scenario I just presented, the Purple Guy would have no reason to kill those kids, but he did because they were victims of opportunity. But let's try looking at this in another way, which is that he actually had a reason. In the true crime cases where people have admitted to having a reason are very interesting, such as severe paranoia, where they think that they're being stalked, where they have the need to stalk someone, hatred for a specific group of people. For example, there's a lot of cases of men who have committed multiple murders against women, justifying themselves by saying that they want to free the world from lust. And the worst ones, which are the ones associated with sexuality. It's fucking disgusting that there's people out there who only get off by harming others. And imagine if this was the case for the Purple Guy. By presenting these two scenarios, we can see the Purple Guy as one, a mindless entity who kills kids for entertainment, or a depraved monster. Maybe the Vincent Purple Guy was like that. Maybe he just did it because he could. And I think that's scarier than any other motive, the fact that there is none. Eventually, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 ends the story with a very ironic twist. The Purple Guy tries to destroy the animatronics who were possessed by the kids. He accidentally frees their souls, and they take revenge by cornering him into a spring-lock suit where he dies. Or does he? Because at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the main locale where this happens burns down. But if you brighten up the image, you can see him. And it's very cool to think about that the original Five Nights at Freddy's saga was supposed to end in one final mystery. Sadly, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 wasn't that well received by the fans, because a lot of people didn't find the original jumpscares to be scary, so the developer behind the games, Scott Cawthon, decided to make a fourth game, and then the story started deviating from there. We were introduced to more kids, more victims, and more establishments, which I think is okay. I think that Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is also an okay ending, but eventually the story started getting so convoluted and confusing because of retcon after retcon after retcon. Eventually, the purple guy's identity was revealed to be this man called William Afton, who had a partner called Henry Emily. Basically, these two were geniuses at robotics, and they created animatronics for children, but secretly William Afton made them murder machines. William Afton wanted to see many children suffer, but he was also a family man, so sadly, its own creations killed their children one by one. I will admit that's also somewhat okay, but then the William Afton purple guy became a mess, because in FNAF 3, after the fire incident, you try to burn him again, but he doesn't die because he's in security breach, but he also kinda dies because he's trapped in hell forever, but that's also not true, because for some reason he also became a virus, but it's also bullshit, because there's also a copycat killer who tries to copy the purple guy, but that's also bullshit, because there's a second purple guy, which is his son, and he's purple because he's rotten, so like, what the fuck, there's like 6 purple guys now? Basically, the original FNAF killer was this guy. We didn't know anything about him, and the fandom decided to call him the Purple Guy or Vincent. We just knew that he killed 6 children for no reason. But in the actual retcon story, it is revealed that the Purple Guy is William Afton, Michael Afton, Springtrap, Scraptrap, Peepaw, the guy trapped in hell, a virus, and he also inspired Vanny. So like, wow. You know, these are all very valid concepts, but you know, I feel Scott kind of fucked up, because I feel he only should have stick to one route, which originally was the hell ending. My issue with this is that we don't really know what's gonna happen next, but not in a good way. Every single twist that could have been done has already been done in the most boring and generic way possible. As I said, these concepts rock. Personally, I love the copycat killer concept because it is something that happens in real life, and one of my favorite games actually delves into this topic, which is Persona 4. But I feel that adding that plot point in an already convoluted game only makes the story suck. Also, the Five Nights at Freddy's story isn't actually a horror story, it's actually a science fiction story, because apparently William Afton tried to create Terminators. Yeah, because apparently in the FNAF universe, there's this thing called Remnant, which is basically the essence of pain, and if a robot or a thing has remnant, it has a soul. So now there's this fucking kid called Gregory, which is apparently a robot, and the books talk about this other girl named Emily being a robot as well. So now everyone's a fucking robot. No. You know, I used to really enjoy the FNAF story, but I feel that we know too much about William Afton to the point it's not even enjoyable. What else can you reveal about William Afton that will interest me? What will be your next move to make him come back? I know you guys will be in the comments saying stuff like, Astray, you're just whining about this saga and you're not saying anything to actually fix it. So here's what I would do. In my opinion, Five Nights at Freddy's would have worked a lot better if it was an anthology. For the ones who don't know, an anthology is basically a collection of seemingly separated stories, which follow different storylines and characters, but in the end they're all connected, and I feel that's the proper way FNAF should have tackled the topics it did. For example, from FNAF 1 to FNAF 3, we have one killer and one story, and instead of trying to build on that, I feel that the game should have just focused on a different set of characters in a different location with a different killer, which I guess it's something that Sister Location tried to do. But then again, the only thing that Sister Location actually does is give more context in the story of William and Michael's backstory. And I guess Security Breach does focus on a different killer and a different cast, but then again, it's all about the consequences of William Afton. Let's imagine I was the one writing the FNAF story. If I was in charge of doing those things, I would make sure that the original story goes untouched. That way, later installments can talk about everything they want to talk about. For example, business vendettas, immortality and fear of death, copycat killers, and the horrors of technology. You can go out of your way by creating different sets of characters, so each one can properly delve into very interesting topics, which, as I mentioned previously, is something the Persona saga does. If something like this is actually avoided or simply not done, you will get a story like Riverdale, which is actually one of the main things I would compare modern FNAF to. Riverdale was originally a story based on the Archie comics about a murder, but now it has devolved into these people having superpowers and stupid shit like that. So just make a separate show, bro, like who cares? But yeah, this video is just me rambling. It doesn't really have a structure, so I sincerely apologize. But yeah, can we get some F's in the chat for my boy Vincent Purple Guy? He will be forever missed. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and if you want, please leave a comment on the next topic you'd like me to talk about next. Hopefully in the future I'll get to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's more, to properly address it the way I wanted it to. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.